All right. Let's talk about those Tyler Kolek minutes, baby. Here we go. Welcome to the Knicks Film School Postgame Show presented by BetUS. Well, that is just what the doctor ordered. A 133-104 victory in Sacramento. For the moment, at least, the sky has stopped falling. We can stop firing people and upending heaven and earth to try to find answers for this team, which found a few answers themselves tonight. So let's get into it. There are a lot of things that we could go to for this game, which, of course, turned into a blowout, but was, got down to 10 points in the third quarter. So, give credit where credit is due. I would say they withstood a few cursory Kings challenges. We could talk about the fact that the Kings were on the second night of a back-to-back. We could talk about the fact that the Knicks finally made some threes. We could talk about a bunch of individual numbers. We could talk about OG Anunoby's assists. We could talk about Karl-Anthony Towns getting into the action in a way that he has not gotten into in a while. We could talk about Miles McBride coming out and scintillating, scorching the Nets in the first quarter. We could go up and down the stat sheet and the box score, and we're going to go through all of it. The defense, Mitchell Robinson, tons of stuff. There's one number, I guess two numbers that are associated with each other that I'm going to start the postgame with, and that is 4-4-6. And that is Josh Hart's three-point makes and Josh Hart's three-point attempts. We have been through the ringer this season as the Knicks came out in the beginning of the year as one of the best offenses, not only in basketball this season, but one of the best offenses that we have seen maybe ever. And the defense was an issue, but we kind of knew what the assignment was, figure out the defense, the whole thing. The offense would take care of itself. It was going to be legendary. It was going to be something that we would tell our grandkids about. And then a funny thing happened on the way to the forum, which is that the offense started to not be that legendary offense that we started the season with. And I know a bunch of other stuff has been happening. There have been injuries. There have been, ups and downs with individual players. And there's a lot of things that we could point to why the Knicks that kind of started the season as one identity have morphed into this other team that has an air of discomfort, or has had an air of discomfort about them for some time now, but especially since the All-Star break, when they have been flat out one of the worst offenses in basketball. As has been discussed by many, many, many people on the interwebs, not the least of which is our film guys over here, DJ Zulo and Benji Ridholtz. Josh Hart's going from a guy who was a 40% three-point shooter over the first 20-ish games of this season to a guy who just stopped taking three-pointers altogether, has not single-handedly hamstrung and constrained this once legendary offense, but for me, and I think for a lot of people, it has been the biggest factor. Because, one, it allows you to put your center on Josh Hart and not think twice about it. Two, it allows you to just flatly not guard Josh Hart when he is out on the perimeter. So you are in this conundrum, and we were texting about it today in our Patreon text thread. It's like, all right, so basically when Josh Hart's in the game, he needs to be involved in every action, and Karl-Anthony Towns needs to go and be a 7-foot Klay Thompson. And then, but also Karl-Anthony Towns, in order to maximize, as Benji Ridholtz put it in his most recent grade book, your Ferrari that you've traded for, in order to maximize him, he has to play a bunch of minutes without Josh Hart on the court. And so all of a sudden you're making all of these compromises to maximize this player because of this major glaring imperfection, and also probably not play this player as many minutes as his overall talent level would dictate. And it is all coming down to his three-point shooting or lack thereof. And so for me tonight, of all the things that I'm going to take from this game, which was very much a get-well game for the Knicks against a team that, again, they caught him on the second night of a back-to-back, but that's a tough place to play, and God knows that is a tough offense to stop. And we're going to get into the defense. Believe me, we're going to get into the defense because I think for a lot of people, the defense is going to be the lead story from tonight, and I'm totally fine with that. For me, it's Josh Hart. And again, taking threes with confidence, making threes with confidence. If anybody out there wants to gift PJ Tucker a key to the city, because I don't know what he told Josh Hart, I don't know what he slipped Josh Hart, put in his drink, whispered sweet nothings into his ear, whatever it was, because it sure seemed like Josh Hart, after he was making those threes, was looking right over at his newest teammate, PJ Tucker, who has obviously been around for a long time. And, Ian Begley, the GOAT, has reported for a little while now, even before the Tucker signing was made official, before it was announced by the beat reporters when they found out about it. He was saying, listen, it's a good guy to get in your locker room. And is this the PJ Tucker effect? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And most importantly, we'll have to wait and see if this shooting for Hart continues. The reason why I just spent 5 minutes on this and why I'm so exuberant about Josh Hart going 4 or 6 from deep in a game that had 100 other storylines is that Josh Hart has shown himself over the course of his career to be the sort of player who can flip on a dime, because he is not a player that it doesn't come down to shooting for him. It doesn't come down to X's and O's. It comes down to above the neck. He is a confidence-driven player. When he is playing with confidence, when he is shooting with confidence, he is a fundamentally different guy than when he is not. And when he is playing with confidence and when he's shooting in confidence, forget changing a game. He could change a playoff series. And we saw him do it against the Philadelphia 76ers when he went out in the first round last year. I believe the final numbers were 12 for 22 over the first 3 games against Philly. Andrew, if you want to just double check that for me. I think that's what it was, because I'm pretty sure he hit 4 threes in each of the first 3 games. You could argue that it flipped that series, because I don't know that they win either of those first 2 games if Josh Hart doesn't have the 3-point shooting performances that he does. So we've already seen the impact of what a confidently shooting Josh Hart can make on a team. And when you factor in everything else that the Knicks have going on and the ways that teams are defending Karl-Anthony Towns and comfortably defending Karl-Anthony Towns and the rest of the offense, frankly, because it's 4 on 5. That is my biggest takeaway from this game, and it is the thing that moving forward I just hope is going to maintain. And we've seen it before. We've seen his seasons just flip like that, like nothing. So maybe this is the game that gets him going. We can only hope. So wanted to spend a little bit of time on that, but God knows there's a lot else to talk about. In no particular order, the defense, and handcuffed to the conversation about the defense is OG Anunoby, because the OG Anunoby that we have gotten over the last, 10 days to 2 weeks, whatever it's been, and obviously the Miami game was the loudest of those performances. That's the OG Anunoby that you go and sign to a 5-year, $212 million contract and not feel like you have overpaid by a dime, because he can wreck games. He wrecked the Miami game. He's wrecked a few other games over the last few weeks, and God knows he wrecked tonight. It wasn't as loud maybe as Deuce's performance in the first quarter. It wasn't as splashy as Josh Hart's made threes, although OG, to his credit, made 3 of 7 from behind the arc in his own right. And that's the other part of it, is when OG Anunoby is wrecking games on the defensive end, we've seen this now for a while, it imbues him with confidence. And it's not just shooting, it's his whole offensive game. OG Anunoby putting the ball on the floor tonight, attacking the basket, a career high 8 assists. I thought he was going to go for a triple-double at some point. Didn't quite get there. 24, 8, and 7. 8 assists, 7 rebounds. And I'm sure I'm leaving out some important 4 steals. How about that? So, but this was not just OG Anunoby on defense. I thought, and they talked about it on the broadcast. We could talk about it tonight. This really was a team effort. I mean, I think they ended up with 34 assists. It feels like the first time in a while that they've had over 30 assists in a game. I'll pull it up right now as I'm talking. But the defensive cohesion, and let's use that word because it's a word we've used a lot this year, and we've used it in a pejorative sense because there has been a gross lack of cohesion and connectivity on many, many, many outings for this team. Tonight, I thought you had that after the opening few minutes, and we've seen this team come out and not look great in opening minutes of games all season long. I'm not going to put much into that. But after that, I thought they were really attached at the hip for the most part, switching seamlessly, and more than that, comfortably switching as opposed to fighting it tooth and nail. By the way, last time the Knicks had more than 30 assists in the game was 11 games ago. That's February 11th against the Indiana Pacers. So it's been a while since they've been disconnected on the offensive end. But let's get back to the defense for a second. Again, comfortable switching Cat into different matchups, comfortable switching Mitch onto different matchups. And that's a name that we should probably talk about because Mitch has been back. This is his, whatever it is, his 6th game back, I think. We've seen glimpses. Certainly, we've seen glimpses. Tonight was the first night I feel like we got the full Mitchell Robinson. Funny enough, I actually don't think he finished with a block in this game. I'm going to double check that right now. I think it was mostly steals where he did his damage. Yeah. 4 steals for Mitchell Robinson, and I misspoke before. 5 steals for OG Anunoby. The team as a whole, 13 steals on the night. That is, I'm going to bet that's, if not their highest of the season, it's right up there. It is 3rd highest of the season. They had 20 steals against Memphis, 16 steals in an early season game against Detroit. So this is the 3rd highest steal total of the year. And Mitchell Robinson and OG Anunoby, the minutes that we got with those guys together, boy, oh boy, that's a team that could defend. Those are 2 high-level impact defenders that, and we've seen it this year. OG Anunoby is one guy. And even when you have him as a roamer helping off of, a less threatening offensive player to try to muck things up elsewhere on the court, there's only so much he could do as one man. When you pair him with someone, especially at the center position, the caliber of Mitchell Robinson, it's a game changer. And I think of Josh Hart's 3-point shooting is the first thing that I'm going to be most excited about tonight. Number 2 is the prospect of getting those 2 guys on the floor together for significant stretches of games. How much could they play together? Well, we saw Mitchell Robinson upped his minutes tonight to 16. I don't think he had gotten above the 13-minute mark since he has come back. So 16 minutes, that's a good sign. Those 2 together. And again, but I don't want to give just like those 2 guys credit. I thought everybody up and down the roster played exceptional defense tonight. And yes, that includes Karl-Anthony Towns. I get it. The whole conversation about defense is at least partially skewed by the fact that Jalen Brunson was not in this game. And, this is now 7 games of good defensive numbers, some bad 3-point shooting early on. The King in that stretch, Kings didn't shoot the 3 well tonight. Look, for a team that's been as, let's just call a spade, disastrously performed defensively as they have, I think we got to take any good signs. And this is now a real run for them on defense. I think you see some improvement from Towns, and you see the whole unit working better. So good stuff from them on the defensive end. And let's go after that let's go to Deuce. And let's finish up the monologue with Deuce McBride. Deuce McBride, even going back to when he was a rookie, you got a sense, and one of the worst shooting seasons as a rookie in literally NBA history. I forget what podcast I was on, or I did some bit a few weeks ago, and it was, I think, what was the stat for among rookies that had taken at least 100 field goal attempts? I think was the number. and had shot below whatever percentage. I forget if it was effective field goal percentage or overall field goal percentage, one of those two. You could count them on like one hand over the last 30 years. Rookies who had shot the volume that Deuce did coming into the league and shot as poorly as he did. And yet, you could tell that this kid had some shit to him and didn't turn around the shooting immediately. He was better in the second year, but got more of an opportunity. Every time you saw him, you wanted to see more. And then that all coalesced into his opportunity following the Emmanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett trade last season, when he stepped into a bigger role and eventually stepped into a much, much bigger role when he was starting games and playing 40 minutes a night. I mean, playing 48 minutes a game, and being an integral part to their operation in the playoffs. And now it's come to this season where it was supposed to be a 6-man of the year campaign. Hasn't quite gone that way. He's missed a few stints here. He's been a little bit shooting inconsistent recently. Hasn't frankly gotten the time that I think a lot of people would have liked to see him get, maybe at the expense of a Josh Hart, something we've talked about a lot. But at no point in time do I think any of us have been worried about Deuce McBride, which is why, coming off of the Clippers game, his first start, obviously, in place of Jalen Brunson, first start of the year, I think. I was expecting a bounce back tonight. Was I expecting 5 for 5 and 15 points in the first quarter? I don't know that I was expecting that, but it was par for the course for this player, that every time he has been confronted with a challenge throughout his Knicks career, and you can go back before that, he has answered the bell. And I was really, really happy. I know there were a lot of, I opened the show with a joke about Tyler Kolek, but there were legitimately people out there who were like, hey, why don't we start Kolek? At least we know he's a point guard. Look, Deuce McBride is not a traditional point guard, and he's never really going to be a traditional point guard. We've talked about it for years. He's a wing in a point guard's body, but he can do enough that when you surround him with the sort of playmaking and the sort of talent that this Knicks starting lineup has, it's more than enough. And I thought one of my favorite plays of the game was the Knicks' last score of the first half, when Deuce McBride, so the clock was winding down, took his time, got into the teeth of the defense, waited until the low man bit, swung a little pass to Mitchell Robinson for Mitchell Robinson's easiest basket of the game. That's maturation. That's progress. That's years and years and years of putting in the work and putting in the hours behind the scenes. And from everything we've been told, there isn't anybody who works harder than Deuce McBride. So wanted to finish up on him because, you could make the case for OG Anunoby, player of the game, make the case for Josh Hart, player of the game. I haven't even mentioned Karl-Anthony Towns other than his defense. Pretty nice offensive game for Karl-Anthony Towns. And if you want to even go there as your biggest takeaway from this game, Karl-Anthony Towns has not really been himself for a little while now on the offensive end. Finished tonight 8 of 15 from the floor, 3 of 6 from deep, got to the line 9 times, 26 points. So on, again, 26 points on 15 shots. Hopefully this could get Towns going on the offensive end. I thought he got, some nice, he looked comfortable out there more and more as the game went on. Was that a little bit of the fact that the Kings don't have the best defense suited to stop him? I'm sure it was, but player like him, he could still get the ball rolling, and hopefully it continues forward. But all good stuff for the Knicks tonight. They needed this win. Kings were tired and whatever. I don't care. There's been a lot of if you want to, I think there's a lot of consternation coming off of Friday's loss of the Clippers, when really, what are we dealing with? We were dealing with a team on the second night of a back-to-back that couldn't hit the far side of a barn, and has not been able to hit the far side of a barn since the All-Star break. Well, wouldn't you know it, 2 days off, get some good shooting luck. Everything looks great. I mean, that's what the NBA is at the end of the day. It's, are you shooting well? Is the team that you're playing shooting well? 9 times out of 10, that's going to dictate the game. And tonight, you could argue that that's exactly what happened. But we're going to talk about all the things that they did well tonight. There are many of them. And I'm excited. I'm excited to get to whoever is up late, whether you're in New York staying up, it's 1:30 in the morning, or you're elsewhere in the world. Maybe you're just starting your day, whatever it is. Andrew was going to remind me if we have a read right off the bat.
I do believe I told you that we have Cornbread to start tonight.
I didn't know if it was now or later.
It's because we have 3 reads tonight. We'll start with Cornbread now. You want to play a game tonight? I know it's late, but you want to play a game?
I love games.
So maybe this will make it a little fun, just in case there's a super chat that grinds your gears. And you've never reacted to a super chat or a general comment or a line on an outline with an inappropriate reaction before. So
you know my nickname is, Andrew?
What is it?
Is Jonathan Even-Keeled Macri.
EK Macri. There you go.
JEKM.
JEKM. There you go. Yep. GMAC, me, JEKM. There you go.
That's my name.
So we're going to do a read for Cornbread at the moment. So shout out to Cornbread. John will tell you all about him in just a second. We're going to hand out an award tonight for the Cornbread take of the night to someone who's had one too many gummies. So we'll do the judge. We'll see in the moment. I'm pretty sure we'll hear it, but we're going to do the Cornbread too many gummy award of the night. Okay. Is that good?
Should I take a gummy every time I think that there's that someone's is in the running for this, or should I wait at the till the end of the show and take the gummy when we award the winner?
Have you taken gummies during the show before?
No, I've never have.
I mean, it's a late night show, so maybe this is the show to debut it. But don't these make you tired?
No, those are my. So let's just do. Let's do the
so what is Cornbread, John?
So
what are you referring to?
Cornbread. What is Cornbread? They are an awesome company that solves, frankly, a lot of problems for me, because they only use the best part of the hemp plant, the flower, for the purest and most potent CBD. Yes, we are talking about Cornbread Hemp's CBD gummies, which are made to help you feel better, whether it's stress, alleviating discomfort, or if you just need, like me, a little bit of relaxation. All the products that they have are third-party lab tested and USDA organic to ensure safety and purity. And when you're an old geezer like me, Cornbread Hemp CBD gummies, they're just a big part of my wellness routine. I actually don't have the CBD gummies on hand. I do have, however, their THC gummies, which are a little bit different and give you a little bit of a different, boost, as it were. But if you want to take advantage of any and all of these products from Cornbread, Knicks Film School listeners can save 30% on their first order. Just head to cornbreadhemp.com/KFS and use code KFS at checkout. That's cornbread.com/KFS and use code KFS. Okay.
Let's see who gets the Cornbread Award for the most weedy take of the night. Okay. Too many gummies take of the night. I have no idea how to phrase this. We're kind of producing on the fly, but we got a lot of people chiming in, a bunch of super chats after a fun win, a palate cleanser of a win, I'll say. So let's get to it.
I would say so. Giddy up. Iceman Sham. How you doing, Iceman? What's going on? One game, but PJ Tucker might have saved the season.
Motherfucker, we signed PJ Tucker. Motherfucker, we signed PJ. Oh, you don't know?
No,
I gotta say, there's a very. So shout out to Doug Lust, who Dougie Burns.
I know Doug Lust.
Right, so he makes a song or video after every game, and he collabed with the Mets jingle guy. You don't know who that is, but they did a video after the Knicks signed PJ Tucker, and it's just the greatest earworm of all time. Ben Stiller quote tweeted it today, and it's just motherfucker, we signed PJ Tucker. Motherfucker, we signed PJ Tucker. It's been in my head all day. Yes.
If it's good enough for Ben Stiller, it's good enough for me.
Clearly. Yes. So shout out PJ Tucker, Supermax.
Seriously, I watching him get off the bench and doing all the celebrations, and specifically with the Hart threes, I was like, did they ever play together? And they didn't. But man, I think Tucker is just one of those guys. You know, he has utmost respect around the league, and you know, he's just a consummate pro. Not coming here to play. He understands he isn't coming here to play. He's totally cool with it. He's gonna still make a big impact on this team, without question. Thanks, Iceman, for starting us off. Don't bother me. I'm busy gearing up for those playoffs. I know. For anybody wondering what I'm talking about, it's the last week of the regular season in our fantasy league. The playoffs are already set. I made it. Busy made it. Alex made it, and I think Chris made it. I'm not sure what the seeding is. I may actually be playing Busy in the first round. I got to double check that. If only we could play the Kings every night. Well, listen, I think the Kings are probably a good matchup for the Knicks. I do also, we should note, like, no Jalen Brunson for the Knicks tonight, no Domantas Sabonis for the Kings. So that was significant. But look, I don't want to poo-poo this win completely. I know Kings second night of a back-to-back. They're like, you mess around with the Kings, you'll get blown out. And listen, honor code. When it started off 5-0 in favor of Sacramento, don't tell me y'all weren't thinking that, oh my God, this is tonight's going to be the new low. Because I was thinking it. But then they got their stuff together and happiness prevailed. But no, listen, Kings not a great team, but a solid team. And the way the Knicks have been playing, if you're a solid team, you'll probably beat them. But they played much better basketball tonight. Thanks, Busy. Nick Head, what's going on, Nick Head? It might be the Kings, but it's still encouraging. Yeah, again, we don't crap on the Kings. Even after tonight, they're 2 games above 500. This is a team that's going to make the play-in in the Western Conference. I'm looking at it right now. They recently won 4 games in a row. Granted, those games came against the Hornets, Jazz, Rockets was a good win, and Mavs, or what's left of the Mavs. Close loss recently in Denver. Kicked the crap out of the Spurs. Overtime loss last night or I guess 2 nights ago now, against the Clippers. Like, this is a good basketball team. Not great, but good. So let's appreciate the win. Thanks, Nick Ed. Robert W. Cross. Shout out to Robert, who DM'd me earlier today. And this is an inside joke at this point, because this is like the 7th time he's done this season. He DM'd me, must-win game tonight, to which I just laughed. First time, long time, it's your boy John. I enjoy OG. Look, I know OG Anunoby is not the most consistent player, and we've had post games after games where he has not come up big. But if there's one thing that I have never wavered on, and I will never waver on, it is that whatever vision of this team you have, and I'm saying you, Robert, like anybody out there, and whatever machinations the front office thinks that it needs to continue to do to eventually put a championship winning core around Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby is part of that solution. He just has to be. I get it. There are some offensive skill points that are maybe slightly lacking, but his ceiling on the defensive end, when you combine it with an offensive game that, like, when he's going right, man, it's a hell of a player. Really, a hell of a player. Not a star player, but there's no one else like him in the league. We've said that before, and I'll say it again now. Thanks, Robert. Good comment there. Scott Thomas, what's going on, Scott? Good win. Just a question. If you had to do it all over again, would you trade Randall and DiVincenzo for Cat? Randall's defense is no worse than Cat's, ? So I would. And I saw on the interwebs yesterday, 2 days ago, somewhere recently. I think they just had did they just have the Sloan conference? I'm pretty sure that's what it was because Daryl Morey, I saw I'm pretty sure, if I'm making this up, somebody correct me. I'm fairly certain they gave out the award for the sports transaction of the year at the Sloan conference. And as will shock no one, the Lakers trading for Luka Doncic won that particular award. But I saw another tweet that had the full list of nominees, and it was like 8 or 10 different transactions. And the Knicks trading for Karl-Anthony Towns was one of them. And obviously, this is an analytics steeped conference steeped in analytics. I understand, and we've been talking about it a lot lately, Karl-Anthony Towns, for all of his otherworldly talent, and it is otherworldly at times, is a funky star to try and maximize when you factor in the things that he maybe doesn't do as well on the offensive end, and then ways that teams could guard him, and obviously the defense comes into question. Even with all that said, I'm personally, as just a Knicks fan who wants to see this team win a championship before I die, I am more than willing to take on those particular issues because I know what the payoff is. I know what it could look like when it's going well, and it's just about figuring out, all right, well, how do we make it look like this all the time? And I'm not saying it's an easy problem to figure out. It is a problem at times, but I think it's a good problem to have. I really do believe that. I know it's also an expensive problem to have because he makes a lot of money, but I would do the trade over without hesitation. And that's no slight on DiVincenzo, who, my goodness, could this team use Dante DiVincenzo for a number of reasons. But yeah, so it's no slight on Devo, but give me Cat. Thanks, Scott. Good question there. 2 up from Busy. The biggest takeaway from tonight is, drum roll please, that ball movement definitely helps 3-point shots. More than one guy creating opportunities for everyone. This is the offense from the beginning of the season. I'm going to read Busy's next comment, and then I'll comment on this. This is the type of offense that can beat the elite teams. It is unstoppable. If JB plays hero ball, teams will load up and kill the offense. So, Busy, I'm going to give you a lot of credit here because you are not a Johnny-come-lately, or a busy-come-lately, I guess, as it were. Andrew gave me a look. I
was uploading something to social and I heard the busy come lately. That's all.
Yeah. Busy doesn't come lately. I'm going to stop.
It comes early?
I said I'm going to stop.
When he's busy?
Pushed it.
If you're busy, then you probably come early.
And you probably, because you have other shit to do.
Yeah.
What did you think makes sense. Jeez. Shout out to Cornbread. You've been on this train for a long time, and I respect it. We've gotten into arguments about, is it Thibodeau offense? And it's funny. We were talking on the Patreon thread, me and DJ and Benji and Andrew earlier today, about like Tibbs as an offensive coach, and about how, I think Benji said he's an excellent offensive coach, but kind of, is he the most creative offensive coach? And because it's just like, what do we always hear about? It's read and react, right? Very simple, not complicated. Read and react. So you watch a game like tonight without a guy who can create an advantage in the traditional sense, and yet you still got 34 assists on, was it 40 something made field goals? 45 made field goals, which is a phenomenal ratio. I agree with you, Busy. This is obviously the way to the best path to offensive success. I don't know that anybody would question it. And more to your point about hero ball, there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to do this with Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson is phenomenally talented. He does draw two to the ball, which should only make the passing easier. And he is unselfish, which I think is the most important thing. If Jalen Brunson could win a championship not scoring, like without a question, he would do it. He doesn't care. He wants to do whatever is best for the team. Oftentimes, him scoring is what's best for the team. I do think there has been something missing. There something off in the sauce recently, where maybe somebody thought they were putting salt in, and instead they poured in I don't know what the hell looks like salt. Like, you can pour sugar in pasta sauce and it's fine. I put sugar in my pasta sauce. I don't know. Fuck, arsenic? I have no idea. But it's been off, and it hasn't tasted right. I don't know that I am willing to say that their offensive issues recently have been about Jalen Brunson playing hero ball. That's the one part of your comments that I'm going to push back on. Although I don't even know if you're suggesting that's where the offensive problems have come from. But yeah, I mean, but it's like, how do you bottle this up and maintain it moving forward? Oh, wait, Fred, because of course Fred Katz is not only up at 1:45 in the morning, but apparently watching this post game. Tell John Anthrax looks like salt. Thanks, Fred. Appreciate that contribution to the Knicks Film School Postgame Show. So yeah, Anthrax in your pasta sauce in place of salt. Let's go with that. That sounds really severe and unpleasant. Whatever it is, I think the challenge now for them moving forward, obviously, to continue playing like this way for as long as Jalen Brunson is out, but also to continue playing like this when Jalen Brunson comes back. And that is, I think, in some ways, I think it is challenging because, like, when Jalen Brunson's out there, I think it's a natural tendency for players to default to, like, oh, JB's there, he's going to do his thing. And I think that is the highest plane of existence for any NBA team. When you have a phenomenally offensive or phenomenally talented offensive player or players, and you still play the sort of brand of basketball that we saw tonight, again, it looks a lot better when the shots are falling. And some of the shots that went down tonight were not easy threes. So I want to make sure we take this with a grain of, not arsenic, grain of salt. Because the threes aren't always going to fall like this. But I completely agree with you, Busy. They need to figure out how to keep this going, because that is their path to success for sure. Thanks, Busy. Appreciate that. Robert W. Cross with another one. First time, long time. It's your boy John. I enjoy watching Deuce McBride. Yeah, no, he's pretty good. He's pretty good, and we should all enjoy watching him, and he should play more than he's been playing, because I know he's been slumping a little bit recently. I quoted the number on the show that me and Jeremy just recorded. He shot 15% from the field over the previous 3 games. That's not going to cut it. When you are a role player in the NBA, and Deuce McBride is a role player, you got to make shots, especially open catch and shoot shots. If you are going to dribble into a mid-ranger or several mid-rangers, you got to make sure that is a bastion of efficiency, which, to his credit, Mikal Bridges, a name we have mentioned tonight, I thought he played well, has made it a very efficient shot. Some aggressiveness also from Mikal tonight, which which was nice. But yeah, Deuce is awesome, and he's going to be, hopefully a big part of this team for years to come. Thanks, Robert. Iceman Sham with another one. Of all the team's brilliance, I get that right? Yeah. From OG, Deuce, Towns, you name it. But tonight, seeing Hart shooting threes confidently was my big takeaway. Iceman Sham, we gotta get you on the post game. You could do the next monologue in place of me, because obviously we are very much on the same page. Yeah, it can't say enough what a game changer it is. It would be if it continues, and I am gonna wish it into existence. That what we saw tonight is obviously not 4 for 6. He's not going to shoot 66% from 3 the rest of the year. That it doesn't need to. If he took those 6 shots with the confidence that he took those 6 shots with, and he hit 2 of them, that would have been fine. Really. It's about taking the shots with confidence. That's what matters. And he did that tonight. Thanks, Iceman. Yanni Golan. GMAC. Maybe I overreacted.
You think?
Shout
out, Yanni. It's all right. I did a post-game show the other night, and he had some takes that would be worthy of said Gummy Award.
So I'm gonna, it's just coming out and saying it. After the Clipper game, I wrote my newsletter because I was like, if I don't write this newsletter now, I am never going to revisit this game. Mm-hmm. I did not think about this basketball team until we recorded our podcast.
That's fine. Jeremy. No, it's fine.
So I did not catch the post game
or the pregame. It's okay. It's okay, John. I don't take it personally. It's
normally I would.
Totally. Yeah. When I release when an episode that has me on it is out there, you totally don't just like slide Mark as played and then move on.
That is not accurate. It's not accurate.
What was your favorite part of the Kings pregame pod?
What
was your favorite part of the Kings pregame?
I told you I wanted to get away from the team until they played another basketball game.
Oh, so you just like took a whole break from the Knicks then? Okay.
Other than when I
except when you were behind the mic to talk about them.
Listen, I can't call out sick from work.
That's true.
Even though I'm gonna be calling out sick from work.
Well, maybe you can. Yanni, first of all, best wishes again to you and your family. I believe they have a 2-month-old. So he was a little cranky after the Clipper game the other night and uttered the super chat that it's worse than pre-Leon Rose. And I went and read the starting 5 of the 2019 opener against the Spurs. So hi, John.
Hi.
What? Never mind. Yanni, yes, you did. And all is well. Okay. Thank you for the super chat. I hope you and your family are doing well.
Shout out to Yanni and shout out to Andrew Claudio.
Mm-hmm.
Who's right here.
Next up, Robert Cross.
First time, long time with your boy, John. Is it fair and reasonable to say that it's almost 2 a.m? We probably have a lot more to go. That the PJ Tucker acquisition was the most important part of the season? If so, will you wear 1 orange and 1 blue sneaker? Is that what PJ Tucker does? You're either muted or
no, it's me. It's me. We don't even know his jersey number yet. I wasn't paying attention to his shoes. I don't know if he doesn't have an assigned jersey number. The theory or the conspiracy theory at this point is that he was wearing like Nike apparel under his jerseys, like his warm-ups tonight.
I know because Josh Hart tweeted about it that I guess PJ has an exceptional sneaker collection.
I guess so. Yeah, I saw the same Josh Hart tweet. Sure. Yeah. 1 orange, 1 blue. Why not? We don't show our feet on this pod. So
listen, man. Robert.
That might be the evolution of Knicks Film School is showing feet, but
This isn't Jets Film School when Rex Ryan was the coach.
That's right. That's a reference.
If the Knicks win the championship this year, I will be purchasing a jersey of every player that is on this team, along with whatever sneakers that they wear at home or in the game. Yeah.
Can't wait to see you in the Marshawn Beauchamp jersey.
How many players have been on the team this year? It's probably over 20 at this point, or close to 20.
You in the Matt Ryan jersey, the Jacob Toppin jersey.
That's
Robert.
Yeah, it's a good one. Another one from Robert. First time, long time, it's your boy John. Do you think Kolek's minutes tonight will be impact? I'm going to go with impactful for the Knicks next year. If the Knicks win the championship next year, I think we are going to look back on tonight and the substantial development that Tyler Kolek was able to get under his belt. I believe he played
5 minutes -5, a learning experience for the kid. So, but it's good that he got these out now, so that way next year when he's ready to step into the rotation. Which, hey, Tom Thibodeau, thank you for your growth in playing the rookie tonight.
I was sitting watching on the couch in the first half when Cameron Payne came in and had probably his worst stint of in maybe not of the season, in like weeks.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, I'm gonna have to eat this like with spoonfuls. I'm gonna have to eat this shit.
Muy malo. Yes, it was not great.
It was not great.
But look, reaction to what the nonsense is on the internet aside, the entire the motivation behind the thought was simply they lost a point guard. Yeah. If Deuce cannot run the offense, do you think Campaign could run it a little better? A veteran in the one game that Campaign started this year, it looked fine. Yeah. And then you move Deuce to the natural 2-guard role, and Tyler Kolek can be the backup for 5-6 minutes. Precious Achiuwa played 5-6 minutes tonight. That was the only thought. I don't even think I agree with it. It was just a thought exercise.
Can I tell you this?
What?
I sure shit would have rather had seen Tyler Kolek for the 5
Precious Achiuwa minutes. Yeah, yeah. I'm very out on Precious at the 4. As much as I love Precious Achiuwa, Mets fan, well, I very much like to not see him at the 4. It's dire straits right now because they're very shorthanded. So it was very clear Tibbs just needed 5 minutes to give his wings a rest, which I was like, if that's what you're using him as, fine, I'll live with it. But
the thing with the Kolek thing has nothing to do with Kolek. Listen, he's an older rookie. He probably should be playing. It's more that it's like we've gotten to this point in the season where there are so many issues with this team that we have been talking about, frankly, to death for weeks, if not months. And it's like we need a new thing to talk about, and that's kind of what it felt like. And there are things that are very important with what this is going on here. And I'm the sort that just by default keeps my eye on the prize, even if it's not always the most exciting or encouraging thing to talk about.
Mm-hmm. I am sorry that my suggestion of this made you feel that way, John. I will never put it on in a rundown that you don't look at anyway.
I didn't even see the rundown.
Right, which is why Jeremy bringing it up, you were like, oh, we got to talk about Tyler Kolek now, huh? It's like, yeah, because Andrew put it next in line. It was like a throwaway, next to PJ Tucker. It's like, hey, see, PJ Tucker got signed. Will he play? Tyler Kolek's getting recalled. Will he play? It was so innocent, and it became a very viral thing on said internet that you don't look at today.
You know what I always tell you.
What?
Help me be the Stephen A. Smith of Knicks Twitter. It's what I wake up. That's the goal. It's actually in a plate over my bed.
So what you need to do is wait until Tyler Kolek has a son.
I heard about this today.
Just go talk about him in the Knicks Film School, and then we'll sit you courtside and see what happens.
No, not today years old. I was yesterday years old when I learned about this thing that happened because Simmons talked about it with Brian Curtis and Russillo. Yeah. He confronted him during a game?
Dude, it happened at the Laker game. You want to know why the Lakers had a little extra punch in the fourth quarter? It happened in between the third and fourth quarter.
What game?
The Knicks game against the Lakers on Thursday.
This happened during the Knicks game?
The Knicks game, yes. LeBron was 0 of 6 from the field, or from 3, and then suddenly he can hit threes in the fourth quarter, and the Lakers just didn't miss.
Holy shit. So we should blame Stephen A.
I blame Stephen A. Smith for a lot of things, and I'll blame him for that loss that night.
Jesus.
Yes.
Wow. Well, you learn something new every day. Yeah, but yeah, we'll Tyler Kolek should get on having a son, so I could work on getting on his son not playing well enough or whatever.
Glad you finished that sentence.
Joe Dugan, what's going on, Joe? No wonder why OG is complaining for a bigger role since coming here. Well, it hasn't been since coming here. He has been rumored to want more of an offensive piece of the pie for years. Wish JB could fit into this instead of him and Tibbs' heliocentric. What is that?
Facepalm. It's a facepalm emoji.
Good win.
I think we have our first nominee. I don't know how you want to grade it, but this is our first nominee for the Too Many Gummy super chat.
I don't care. You kill Tibbs all you want. It's where the JB hate comes in. That's a little bit over the bounds of acceptable for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's okay to point out that the Knicks offense does at times get too heliocentric, to use your word. I don't disagree with that. While also recognizing the unique challenge that Jalen Brunson has as the only traditional engine, shot creator, whatever term you want to use, on this team. He's the only person that draws two to the ball consistently, regardless of what defense that they are playing. So under the Occam's razor theory of the simplest explanation is usually the best, well, the simplest approach is often the best, and the most, NBA's been around for 79 years. Draw two to the ball, kick to the open man, that usually works pretty well. So I don't think this is out of selfishness or a lack of creativity or, anything else you want to throw at it. It's just, it comes from an understandable place at the very least. It is incumbent upon Jalen Brunson, his coach, and frankly, all of his teammates to make sure that that is not what the Knicks offense devolves into most of the time. And we've seen ebbs and flows throughout this year. I think, which is why I said to Jeremy, the one good thing I said on the pod that we just did is, hey, do you think maybe JB's absence could be a benefit to them because they will be forced to learn how to play without him? And I think tonight, I'll get that. I'll take that win because I think tonight was a piece of evidence that, hey, maybe that was for the best for right now.
Two things. Second straight game, even though they lost on Friday night, where the entire starting five had at least 10 field goal attempts. And in this one, no one had more than 15. Jamal Crawford mentioned this on the broadcast, that this was a very balanced attack from the Knicks, which, to John's point, is them learning how to play without Jalen Brunson to an extent. That it's going to take a collective effort. There's no, when Quickly came in, was here, he would just step in for JB and largely just play that role. And that's not going to happen here. My only pushback to Joe was that, to your point about, if only we could do this instead of have Jalen Brunson. And I very much like Jalen Brunson. So
more impressive for me than the evenly distributed field goal attempts. Bridges, 8 assists. Anunoby, 8 assists. McBride, 7 assists. Towns, 3 assists, but he had a number of additional passes that I thought were very good that did not end up in assists. And then Josh Hart with 3 assists, but I thought, again, Josh Hart, when he's playing well, had his hands on a lot of stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah. They're now 21-2 when they have at least 30 assists in a game. But you mentioned it, since the Philly game was the last time they had 30, and that game went into overtime. Or was it the second Philly game, the home game against Philly, that they had 30 assists?
I'm looking at it right now. Hold on.
Is it the home game or is it the away game?
I had it that the last 30 assist game was the Indiana game.
Oh, so it's right before the break. So we're going back to before the All-Star break that
Yeah.
the Knicks last had 30 assists in a game. So that's like, again, a point to Joe that it's maybe become a little less heliocentric. I would add that they've been in a bit of a, not a shooting slump, but they've been less efficient, and you get assists when guys make shots after you pass it to them. So
yeah, but I mean, and everybody on the Knicks Film School channel has talked about this in their own way. They have just looked off.
Yeah.
They have looked something hasn't been right, and they looked right tonight. And you want to tell, it's a chicken or the egg conversation about, is it because the shots are going in, or is it that they look right so the shots are going in and they're shooting it more confidently, whatever? We don't know the answer to that question. I know that I feel like it's been a while since I've seen the offense look as good as it did.
I agree. If you want to have the takeaway be tonight that, like, even if you're playing a team that went into overtime, had their hearts ripped out, 4/5 of their starting lineup played 44 minutes last night.
Did they?
And oh yeah,
I didn't even realize that.
The Kings shout out to the pregame pod. The Kings starting five was very overworked last night, and then came home to play a Knicks team that wasn't missing, was getting out in transition. So usually it's good to just have a game where you look right, and if that's a takeaway, it was good to see the Knicks just look right, even if it's against that team. When you're shooting 22 of 40 from three, it's always a good bet that you're going to have a good night and look right. Speaking of making a good bet, John, shout out to the fine folks at BetUS.
Yes, indeed, Andrew. Thank you for teeing me up there. If you are ready to enjoy a fun casino, did you know that BetUS has one? Yes, they do. For all Knicks Film School followers who like slots or live casino dealers, take advantage of BetUS's amazing sign-up bonus. It's a 200% sign-up bonus, in fact, up to $5,000, or get really crazy, 250% sign-up bonus for crypto up to $5,000. Get ready for a rush with BetUS's casino. Generous promotions and tournaments make every play even more rewarding. Sign up now and experience the difference. And as always, use promo code YouTube150. It's right there on the screen. It would bite you if it had teeth, to receive a 150% bonus on your first deposit, as well as 125% bonus on your next two deposits up to $2,000. Remember, gambling involves risk. Please only gamble with funds you can afford to lose. All forms of betting carry financial risk, and it is down to the individual to make bets with or without the assistance of the information provided. Giddy up. Andrew, why are you texting about Tibbs Coach of the Year? Distracting me. Richard Robinson, what's going on, Richard?
Hold on. There's a now you have to add context to the people that now got introduced to our group chat. Fred asked how the game went. Benji said, like, oh, like they moved the ball well, hit a bunch of threes, did this and that. It was a good, solid win. And Fred thought he was saying that just PJ Tucker did that. And Benji's like, what do you mean? It's like, yeah, you're not fooling me, Benji. It's like, that's exactly what happened. And then the misunderstanding was clarified. It's like, oh, you meant the team did that, yeah. Benji, got it. And I was like, yo, imagine if PJ Tucker did do all of that in his first game, and then Tibbs would win Coach of the Year because he tapped into
resurrected PJ Tucker.
Yes, exactly.
That would be Coach of the Year worthy.
And scene.
Richard Robinson, defense equals OG, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, Miles McBride. I was like, what is Miles McBride? Deuce McBride and Mitchell Robinson. Yeah, that's as good a time as any to pull up the lineup data from our, if I can find it here, from our friends at Pivot Fade. So the lineup that you are referencing tonight, drum roll, please. They interesting. So they only ended up playing 5 minutes and 25 seconds. I think all of these minutes were in the first half. I don't think they played in the second half.
End of the second quarter, Cat checked out with 5:25 left, and
Yeah.
Mitch played with the starters.
Yeah, because I read this stat at halftime, and I'm pretty sure it was the same minute total. So outscored the Kings 16-11, 160 offensive rating. I'm not sure if that's sustainable. 100 defensive rating. And in terms of the starting lineup tonight with Cat in there, 17 minutes and 10 seconds, outscored Sacramento 48-33. 133 offensive rating, and again, an even 100 defensive rating, which is why I wanted to make the point earlier. Yes, the lineup you're referencing and OG and Mitch together, the whole thing, exceptional defensive effort. The defensive effort tonight was really across the board. So, that's obviously very encouraging, because for as much as the lineup that you're referencing is going to certainly play minutes and be a factor moving forward, they're going to need to play Towns a lot. And seeing Towns be part of those super functional defensive units is very encouraging. Can they maintain it with Brunson back added to the mix? That's going to be the challenge. Thanks, Richard. Another one from Richard. I'm confident we still get to 50 wins. I sure as hell hope they get to 50 wins. We'll do the out-of-town scoreboard later, but I'll just say this was their 41st win of the season. So if 50 wins, they need 9 more wins.
They have to go 9-9 the rest of the season.
Thank you. 9-9 the rest of the season to finish 50 and 32. I'm pretty sure they could go 500 the rest of the way, but yeah, we'll know when we get there. Anthony Sixto, what's going on, Anthony? Turns out Kolek minutes were the difference. Joking aside, props to players and coaches across the board. Showed us everything we wanted to see. I think I don't want to go too far. I will just say this. This has been now 5 years of this regime, this coach. It's not this core, because all the players are different with the exception of Mr. Robinson. But I think we sometimes forget that there has been a culture here that has built up over the course of not 1 year, not 2 years. This is a 5th year. And over those 5 years, every single season, they have come up against adversity, and not minor adversity, major adversity. Now, in one of those previous 4 seasons, they did not respond to that adversity in a positive way. In the other 3, they did, and I to think that this team wasn't going to figure it out. And, I'm not saying it's going to be smooth sailing from here on in. Portland's going to be a tough game. Golden State's going to be a tough game. And then even then, you got an easier part of your schedule. You never know. But, I think they've earned the right to have the benefit of the doubt when it comes to whether or not we're going to kind of be like, that's it. They're done. No, it's a long season. Teams play poorly sometimes. I would expect, personally, I still think they're going to wind up at 52 or 53 wins. I think 53 is what I predicted before the season. Shout out to Robert Cross. And I would bet that they're going to get there. Thanks, Anthony. All right. Will Oliver. First enjoyable New York sports moment in a week. I don't know what other New York sports moments have happened in the last week.
So let's go around. The New York Rangers had a pretty brutal weekend in their playoff hunt. The 2 teams that they're chasing for the final wildcard spot, they played them both on Saturday and Sunday, had a 3-1 third period lead, gave up 2 goals in the last 6 minutes of said third period, lost in overtime to, I believe it was either Columbus or Ottawa. I was watching the game. I forget who they were playing. And then they gave up 7 goals on Sunday night. and lost that game. So the Rangers are out. The Islanders, nobody cares. Then the Jets officially, I have no idea how to evaluate what the Jets did. Aaron Rodgers is gone. Devontae Adams is gone. Justin Fields is in. The Giants.
Didn't they just hold on? Wait. Didn't they trade for Devontae Adams?
Yes. And then they released him. Clean slate. Now, the guy who traded for Devontae Adams, both the GM and Aaron Rodgers are gone. So I guess they couldn't find anything on the open market. Aaron and Devontae Adams is now in Los Angeles with the Rams. You are aware who's the front runner to get Aaron Rodgers right now, right?
I did. Well, because Yash texted.
Yes. Your Pittsburgh Steelers, which that's not terrible after they just traded for DK Metcalf.
They have DK Metcalf?
Yes.
Oh, he's good.
Yes, he's very good.
I like him.
Yes. So now DK Metcalf, Aaron Rodgers, competence. I mean, they were pretty good last year with Russell Wilson. So Rodgers with a good O-line, and
they have a good receiver. Who's the receiver they have?
George really Pickens. Good? Yes,
that's it. Pickens is good. Yeah, Pickens is good.
The Giants were interested in Rodgers, but I don't know. I have no idea how to evaluate the Giants offseason either. Yeah, free agency was this week. The New York Yankees lost Luis Hill, who won Rookie of the Year last year, to a lat strain. He'll be out for months. And Garrett Cole, their ace and Cy Young,
who that is.
He officially is getting Tommy John surgery tomorrow and will miss the entire 2025 season.
Oh, that sucks.
I got no troll Met fan shit either, because that sucks. And Giancarlo Stanton has tennis elbows. He has tennis elbow in both of his elbows right now.
Well, it's a good thing he plays baseball.
Yes, but you need elbows to swing a bat. He can't swing a bat or a paddle or a racket at the moment, so he can't play anything that involves swinging. So yeah, that team looks very depleted in spring training. The Mets lost Francisco Alvarez to a hamate bone fracture, so he's gonna miss 6 to 8 weeks as well.
Hamate?
Hamate. It's a hand. It's like this bone right here that goes toward the bottom of the bat. But for him, more particularly, it's because he's a catcher. John, look, it's the thing you catch with. So
got it.
Yeah. So he's out, and then the Nets are doing everything to avoid the tank after a win against the Lakers today. I know they lost 7 straight.
I watched the whole. That ruined my pregame nap. I couldn't turn off the game because it was a hell of a game in the fourth quarter.
And obviously, the Knicks lost Jalen Brunson for a significant amount of time. So I understand Will Oliver's sentiment here. It's been a brutal couple weeks for New York sports.
Just a bit.
Yeah. Did I miss anything? Football, hockey, baseball, basketball. Yeah, I did all of the above.
Yeah, I know.
St. John's, they're doing well, right?
Sure.
No idea either. I know St. John's is doing well. All right. Two from Kevin Danishevsky.
Yes. Kev, love the current starting lineup, and an intriguing all defense lineup emerges with Mitch Fourcat. You were right and Jeremy was wrong. No. Love others stepping up to initiate. No. Jeremy wasn't wrong. I just, I'm just old and curmudgeon-y, one of those things. That's me. No, it was a good effort tonight. I know that you were excited to see this group out there, the starting lineup. I know there's going to be, and there already has been, some mild anti-Brunson sentiment, and I'm not saying that's where you're coming from, Kev, to be very clear. They will still go as far as Jalen Brunson could tape them. And it is a matter of figuring out how to incorporate what he does on offense, which I don't think that's going to be that hard. I think they've just been in some kind of a rut. But more importantly, on the defensive end, can you take what we have seen recently? And I'm actually now kind of curious, so I'm going to look it up as we get to your next comment. How they've been over the last 7 games. Kev's second comment: favorite game of the year, even better than Memphis. That's bold to say this is your favorite game of the year. I don't know what my favorite game of the year is. I don't have an obvious one. I'll have to think about that. Christmas was great.
Christmas is mine.
Christmas was really fun.
Yeah.
The
Houston game was fun. Seeing Brunson go off in that fourth quarter.
Houston was fun.
Both Memphis games were good. This is up there.
Both
Miami wins were fun.
Both Memphis games were good. I don't know that I have one.
Both Denver wins were good. There's no one clear one that stands out. Like, it was funny watching Randall succeed with Minnesota this week, and it got me going back to some of the good Randall games, and like that Randall shot against Miami is one of my favorite wins ever. Regular season wins, I should say. And there's no that win. The only thing that probably comes close to that is either the Anunoby shot because it was taken with 4 seconds left, or I guess you got to go to JB hitting the game winner over Dyson Daniels against Atlanta.
Well, that's pretty good.
That Atlanta game was so frustrating because they were even in overtime though. They were up 6 with 10 seconds left.
The last 2 years have had such obvious games of the season for me. Last year being the Pacers game, and the year before that, Quickly's 55-minute performance at the Boston Garden, 38 points in 55 minutes.
Yes, in TD Bank Arena. Yes,
whatever the fuck. Those were just very clearly, like, for me at least, like the games of those seasons. I don't feel like we've gotten the game of the season yet. Maybe, I don't know if we will. Maybe we won't. We'll see. Brandon Guess, what's going on, Brandon? At full strength, is the best version of this team with McCall or OG as our third option? Is Denver OG better than Christmas McCall? I'm thinking playoffs. Well, listen, I'd love to get both of those guys on the floor at once. That's a great question. I feel like it's I want to be very clear, Brandon. I love the question, and I think it's very good and fair and valid in the whole thing. I don't know that it needs to be or even can be so cut and dry like that, like you're making it out to be, which is to say the best version of this offense has, like, both of those guys and, like, frankly, Karl Anthony Towns and, like, even Jalen Brunson. Like, the best basketball team, or the most aesthetically pleasing and arguably the most effective offense that I've ever seen in my basketball watching life, was the 2013-14 Spurs, which contained 4 future Hall of Famers and Boris Diaw as the 5th guy. And those guys went out there and played a brand of basketball where you couldn't, on any given night or possession or anything, you couldn't tell who was the number 1, the number 2, the number 3, the number 4, because they didn't have any of those things. Now, I don't know that any team will ever be able to achieve that level of offensive beauty. And I don't know that this Knicks team has it in them. But I think the goal, not only for the Knicks, but for every team, is to get to something resembling that. And if you resemble that, then you're not talking about OG as the third option or Mikal Bridges as the third option. Like, the thing with both of these players, they both need to be involved. Like, you don't want either of those players just standing behind the arc and waiting for the ball to be delivered to them to fire up catch and shoot threes. They are both they're both too talented and too skilled for that. And frankly, so is Josh Hart. Even for as much as I opened the show by talking about how important it was that he took those threes with confidence, and it is important because of how the defense guards them. Like, he's obviously going to be very involved in the offense. So to me, it's like the answer is like neither, because it has to be everybody. Yeah, that's it. That's my answer. I'm going to stick to wishy-washy on this one. Bulldog Boxing Promotions. Cat +8, Mitch +26. Hashtag meaningful, ? Mitch was very good. Very, very good. I thought Cat was really good. I don't think that the minutes where the Kings pushed back and got back in the game, I don't know that I would put them on Towns. I thought Towns was good. Mitch defensively was a different animal, and you saw it. It's not a crazy point to bring up, though, Bulldog. I got to tell you, and I hadn't realized it was that stark of a difference, but it's a good call by you. Fountain of Hoop. The PJ effect is real, John. Talk to me. I love the PJ effect. I love it. I love there. Shimmy MD game ball to Tucker tonight. Yeah, no, like I think the whole veteran in the locker room thing, it could be real. And again, Ian Begley, said it, so it has to be true. I don't know what he said. I really want to know what he said to Josh Hart. Like, what was their first conversation? How did that go? Are they friends? Do they already have each other's numbers? Are they text buddies? Do they have like a mutual friend, like that's a very close friend who they both like played? Like you could do 6 degrees of separation with PJ Tucker and certainly get to every NBA player. I don't know, but like I'm happy he's on our team. Always like PJ Tucker. Always seemed like a guy that is a good culture guy. And again, I don't know. Maybe what he said was as simple as like, man, you guys are not having fun. Go out there and have some fun, because it doesn't look like you are right now. Or like you guys are awesome. Go out there and play like you're awesome, because they hadn't been playing like that either. Whatever it is, it worked. So kudos to him. Thanks, Shimmy. Bill Peter friend, what's going on, Bill? The only real negative, if one, was the damn game began at 10:30. Great and needed win. Yeah, it began at 10:30, and I usually nap for a couple hours before these games. I did not get a chance to nap today. So tomorrow's gonna be an interesting day for me. I will just say that. Thanks, Bill. Kev with another one. To expand a bit, the Knicks have more than enough creation in the starting lineup to make up for Deuce not being a true point guard. Yeah. I said as much before. Very, very good point. Saw the diversity in creation tonight, even OG Anunoby. Yeah. I want to go back and watch OG's assists in particular because, and Mikal's, because I think those two, for both of those guys to have 8 assists in the same game, that's notable. I'm not sure that's something I thought we would ever see. I'm sure there's been games this season where they've combined for like 1 assist or 2 assists. So again, like if it was that easy, if it was just like a faucet, you turn on, you turn it off, and it's like, oh, here's all the playmaking, here's all the passing, here's all the ball movement, here's all the player movement, then they would do it all the time. But I don't. I would love to know what it was tonight that set them on the path that got them to where we're talking about this as one of the best wins of the season. Thanks, Kev. Robert Cross with another one. All the night owls here. Legend of GMAC. When is your collab with Doug Lust? KFS Nation needs this. Andrew's not coming up on the stage to answer this question.
My bad. I was watching something. Robert, Doug actually collaborates with us a ton. There's a lot of music and imaging on Knicks Film School that was stuff he sent over to us years ago. In fact, Robert, you should be happy to know the intro and outro music for Study Hall, your show, is from one Mr. Doug Lust. So yeah, and Doug's family here at Knicks Film School. He knows where to find me. Would love to have him come to one of our Knicks Film School watch parties, which will be at T Squared Social. Speaking of, John, did you know that T Squared Social has like leagues and trivia nights and whatnot? Would you like to tell more people about T Squared Social?
I would, but before I do, were you watching the Mitch and campaign video?
No, I was watching Josh Hart. He answered a question. They asked, like, this is the third straight game you've held the team under 40%, and what's different? He was like, JB's not out there.
Good job by you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, you can go to tsquaredsocial.com to learn about club memberships, trivia nights, sports leagues, and much more. You could also just visit them on 42nd Street, right down the block from Grand Central Station, and tell them Knicks Film School sent you. Get a free draft beer. But of course, you're going to want to come out this upcoming Saturday night to see your Knicks take on the Golden State Warriors in a rematch of what was a very disappointing game recently. Things will get kicked off 7 p.m. We have Knicks trivia starting at 7:30. It's Mark's birthday. He'll be there celebrating. So come celebrate Mark, who's been producing post-game shows all year. And yeah, come check out Knicks Warriors. I'm sure it's going to be a good game. Really, really hoping they come out and give a good effort against Portland and get that win so we can, go into that game on a 2-game winning streak. And yeah, there we go. Okay. Out of town scoreboard presented by T Squared Social. If I could get my freaking, here we go. Okay. Scores from tonight. No games going on right now. Warriors beat the Trailblazers. So the Warriors move to 37-28. My goodness, break up the Warriors. Mavericks get off the schneid, get back to 500. They beat the Spurs. Nuggets get some retribution. They beat the Thunder 140-127. Grizzlies over the Suns. Rockets over the Magic. My God, 97-84. Oof. Go say something nice to a Magic fan in your life. Bulls over the Pacers. That's notable. We'll get back to that in a second. Raptors over the Wizards. Hornets over the Heat. And then the Nets over the Lakers. Mentioned that before. Celtics over the Jazz. Hawks over the stinky Philadelphia 76ers. If you are standings watching, the Knicks now 4.5 games up on the Bucks, and the Pacers, losers of 3 in a row, are now tied with the Detroit Pistons. Both of those teams are 5.5 games back of the Knicks. So, and then if you're worried about securing a playoff spot, the Knicks are now 10.5 games up on the Atlanta Hawks in 7th place. So, yeah, that's where things are at. Okay. Home stretch. Blue Flags. What's going on, Blue Flags? Good Cat defensive game. I completely agree. He was his version of locked in. I liked how they mixed up the ball handling, and Hart fired away. Instant cutting increase. Yeah. One commonality for all of their best offensive performances this year, Blue Flags, and I think you're implying this, is they cut a lot. And, a lot of that has been Cat hitting cutters, towards the basket. I thought they did a great job of generating easy looks tonight. In general, like, the offense just moved. And that's, to bring it back to Busy's point, to bring it back to a couple other points that have been made, when Jalen Brunson is in there and when he has the ball, there is a tendency to stand around and stagnate. So again, it is incumbent upon everybody, including and perhaps most importantly the head coach, to make sure that everybody keeps moving. Even when Jalen Brunson is back. We know they can do it. We know it does not take having a lead ball handler bring 2 to the ball to get these open looks and to get into these different actions. We saw it tonight, which is why, whether, like Kevin, it was your favorite game of the year or not, of all the games they've played, it's probably the game that I'm most excited to go back and rewatch and see how they generated these buckets. Because I think that's going to be very relevant for them moving forward. Thanks, Blue Flags. Good comment there. Vintage Larry Wu, parentheses, Jacob. PJ Tucker is the Julius Randle of Ryan Arcidiakonos. That's good. That's good. That was good. I appreciate that. I'm with you, Mac. No Jalen may make us better for Jalen. Miss you, my glorious king. Presh threes. Yeah, that was. I don't even put that on Precious when campaign, and I think that was out of a timeout. Correct me if I'm wrong. Where campaign came out and the it ended up going to Precious in the corner. I'm like, this cannot be what you drew up in the timeout. Anyway, yeah, no, but again, the challenge is going to be to one, keep it going like until JB comes back, and then obviously keep it going once he returns. Thanks, Jacob. Paris Hutcherson. What's going on, Paris? Big up to Coach Tibbs for finally letting his bench players play with a little under 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Hashtag let's go Knicks. Hashtag New York Knicks all day, every day. I like it. Another one from Paris. I have a lot of questions, but I'll only ask one. Why in God's name did the Knicks not acquire Moses Brown? Well, that's an obvious answer, because if Moses Brown was here, then our Lord and Savior PJ Tucker would not be here. I think that's the best answer. I also don't like, do they need Moses Brown? Maybe they were like, hey, we feel good about Mitch. We feel good about Mitch's progress. We've held Mitch out for longer than we probably needed to. He's going to be back. And assuming Cat's in and assuming Mitch is in, then Precious Achiuwa may not even get any minutes. And by the way, something I did not mention, I mean, Precious has been alluded to a few times during this postgame. Precious Achiuwa was a DNP CD in the second half up until garbage time, which, you know, do with that what you will. Thanks, Paris. Robert Cross, first time, long time, it's your boy John. The shortest distance between point A and point B is a straight line. I got to tell you, Robert, that one's going to be keeping me up tonight. Exceptional observation by you. I don't know what to say.
Gonna leave you out here with this one.
I like, this could be referring to 18 different things, and I'm not going to go through the list of things that it could be referring to. I will just say thank you, Robert, for your contribution. Kevin! Hey, Kev. I feel like I haven't seen you in a while. What is that acronym?
John
Oh, that's me.
Macri. This is
John
a reference to an hour ago.
It's been a long hour and a half. Great win tonight. I just wanted to say everyone should buy KFS merch. I was at both LA games, and the merch got great reactions. People recognized the brand. I ran into David Futterneck too. Hashtag KFS Nation was hashtag meaningful. That's awesome. That's awesome. You're muted.
That's awesome. Thank you, Kevin, for representing out in LA.
How do people get KFS merch?
You go to nickfilmschool.com. The link is at the top of this episode description, whether on YouTube or in your podcast feed. And our merch store is available there. The 2 hoodies behind me are available. We have beanies. We have coffee mugs. The hat John's wearing. We have the same hat in black. Wait, you can't see it. Wait, yeah, go over there. Yeah, it's in black. There you go.
What's the deal with the polos that you're sending me?
No, those are just like uniform. Those are for us. Hey, if you want to buy a Knicks Film School polo, you can, but right now they're just like for. So these are for us to wear during post games if we'd like to.
We'll road test it, and then if people want to start wearing Knicks Film School polos, like, we could probably make that happen too.
We got a Jalen Brunson him shirt.
We got a lot of stuff, man.
Yes.
Got a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Thanks for the shout out, Kev.
Yes. Shout out, Kev, and that's the last one.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for checking out another episode of the Knicks Film School Postgame Show. It is now 2:36 in the morning in the AM. I'm gonna go write a newsletter. Thank you, GMAC, for staying up late and doing the Lord's work here. aka PJ Tucker's work. Shout out to BetUS for sponsoring today's show.
It's late, so I figure I might as well. Make sure you
There
saw
should
it.
be the retractable fist that it's like the gun you push. You know what?
Wait.
You ever seen that? It's like a toy where it's like a spring and it's like an accordion, and then the fist
It just like yeah. I was thinking more the hook when you pull people off stage.
Oh, that too, that would work.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anything or just you could stick a hand up my ass and treat me like a ventriloquist dummy. Many options. Andrew's just nodding. He wants to get out of here.
Many options. Touche. Shout out to Cornbread.
Shout out to Cornbread. I didn't take the gummy.
No.
I need to write a newsletter, so I'm not going to take it right now. Everybody, don't forget, support the show in any way you can. Give us a 5-star rating, a good review. Tell your friends and loved ones about us, and we will see you with more fun and games very soon. Andrew, pregame show coming up before the Portland game with...
Do you like pie, John? Is your favorite flavor lemon meringue?
I will be... Oh, my God.
You ain't missing that one. Get ready for Tamani Kamara max contract talk.
Oh, man. Is Kamara eligible for the Supermax?
No, but with all the injuries, he might be eligible for all NBA.
I was about to say defensive player of the year.
There you go.
Oh, man. Don't even talk about the Knicks. Just make it the whole thing about Tamani Kamara.
The whole Tamani Kamara pod. Can't wait.
Oh my God. I'm so excited. So check out Andrew on with Denny Meringue.
Danny Meringue of Jack Ramsey's and the morning radio, or over there, afternoon radio in Portland. So
yeah.
For
the pregame pod, post game is gonna be
me and Sean.
Giddy up.
Yeah.
And I'll be back with something very soon, I'm sure.
John has a Patreon episode with Benji dropping sometime tomorrow, probably closer to Wednesday morning. So if you want to sign up for the full episode, but you can get the preview on the pod. So stay tuned for that as well.
So lots of good stuff. Everybody, thanks for checking out another episode. We'll be back with more fun and games before you know it. Take care.